24/7. Every day I'm on top of my game.
Hey everybody, this is Sean V. Bradley, CEO of Dealer Synergy, and you know what time it is. It is Make Money Mondays. What time is it, people? Make Money Mondays! All right, so again, this is the second of the last series of our amazing internet directors that stopped by our studios for the last 2 days. And this is a special one. I want to talk about motivating your department. So now, everybody that watches Make Money Mondays, you might have a different role in your dealership, whether you're a dealer principal, general manager, internet director, BDC director. This video is specifically for the executive management. This is if you're a dealer, GM, or you're the internet director. But this will benefit everybody else in your store. What I want to talk about is making this fun. You cannot have an internet department or a BDC or a call center if you are treating it like it is a prison cell or it is a prison period. Because you got to realize these poor people are on the phones all day long, grinding, pounding the phones. It's a hard job. And then if they have to deal with the stress aspect about nobody appreciates them, they're not getting a lot of connections, they're not getting validation, they're not getting appointments, it wears on you. So it is our job as managers and owners to make the environment awesome. I'm going to repeat that. You need to make the environment awesome. How could you do that? Well, first it starts from the top down. I really want to have the owners, the GMs involved in the department, not always just busting in. How many appointments you got? How many appointments you got? What's going on? Anybody coming in? Why don't they come in? Why did you make 15 appointments and only 3 people showed up? What's wrong with you people? Sound familiar? That's not conducive to doing business. That is not therapeutic to the situation. What you want to do is not only show up to demand leads and appointments and sales. How about stop in and see how everybody's doing? How about stop in once in a while and say, hey, you know what? You're doing a great job. Wow, yo, you made like 15 appointments and about like 8 people showed up. Awesome. We had a $4,000 gross. Thank you so much. So let's start there. Start with the owners or the general managers going into the front lines, showing their face other than to demand something. It's called the emotional bank account. Deposit, deposit, deposit. Don't just keep withdrawing. First thing. Next thing is on the showroom floor, we have different types of bonuses. You got fast track bonuses. What does that mean? Usually if you make X amount of sales by the 15th, you get a bonus. Then you have like close the month strong bonuses. So by the end of the month, if you get X amount of additional sales, that's another bonus. If you've got tier bonuses, if you've got volume bonuses, if you've got on Saturday spot bonuses, everybody's been in the car business longer than a freaking year. You know what I'm talking about. There's a myriad of different bonuses. Why? Because you want to keep the flow on the showroom floor exciting, interesting. You want to keep it competitive. What are you doing for your internet department, your BDC or call center to keep it exciting, fun, and competitive? And oh, by the way, you could achieve the same things that you do for your showroom floor. Why do we have a fast track bonus on the showroom floor? Because we know as managers that if we sell a lot of cars at the beginning of the month, usually the second half of the month you sell more cars. So if you do something to incentivize or motivate that fast track, usually that pace continues throughout the month. Why don't we use the same mentality for your internet department or BDC? So what I want you to think about, here's the thinking point, is what are you doing to make it fun, competitive, and just interesting inside the internet department or the BDC or the call center? If the answer is nothing, nothing from nothing makes nothing. Get that? Okay, so you can sing it to yourself after you get off the video. Nothing from nothing equals nothing. So if you want something to happen, then you got to do something different. Now, besides these bonuses that are fast track, what I want you to be able to do is take these 2 points. If I'm the internet director, so I'm going to change the audience just for a second here. If I'm the internet director and I've got a team that I'm trying to build up, I want to create 2 types of bonuses: a global bonus and an individual bonus. Because here's the reality: this is a competitive sport. You want to make sure that the coordinators are not kicking each other in the throat or anything like that, but you want to make them strive for their individual greatness. So I don't want you to do one or the other. Don't do I'm going to have a global bonus or an individual. I think you should do both, because you should try to get your individual people to get to the natural best place they could achieve. But also you want to create an environment where they're not kicking each other in the throat and trying to backstab each other. And the way to do that is by putting a group bonus that one individual couldn't hit themselves. Give you an example. I've got a Ford dealership from upstate New York, and they want to sell an additional 50 units. So that's way too many for one coordinator to handle. And you know what? They have a different level of coordinators in her, kind of command. There are some coordinators that have experience that are higher level. You don't want to also just have a, individual one, because if somebody's not at the level as the tier 1 or the senior coordinator in there or appointment setter, then they're like, you know what, I'm not even gonna bother trying because there's no one how I'm gonna get that bonus. You don't wanna have that type of mentality. What you wanna be able to do is, at least if there's a global bonus, that coordinator can still benefit from some type of incentive because it's not just left on that person's shoulders by themselves. They can contribute to the overall global effect. So I don't wanna confuse you, I wanna segregate again. You want to have a global bonus. So for that dealership, if we could get to a number that we are trying to get to, we never achieved before, the whole group gets something, whether it's a cash bonus, it's a dinner, it's a gift card, it's a prize, it's whatever it is, but that's a global bonus, and that's going to make the team work together. Because if it's like something like 50 or 60 cars, there's no way in hell one coordinator could do that by themselves. But they're going to have to force each other to be productive and to win as a team. And that's really good because if there's other people in the department that want to achieve that bonus, whether it's cash or a prize, they're going to be motivating the other coordinators, the weakest links, to step up their game because they don't want to lose it because somebody else is not, stepping up their game. Now, that's the global one. On an individual basis, it's really important to try to maximize numbers. What numbers do we want an appointment setter to hit? Obviously, phone calls made, connections, appointments, appointment shows, and deliveries. But what do they have the most control over? There's a couple variables for coordinators they have the most control over: dialing the phones, getting connections, and making appointments, and getting people to show up. Don't put an incentive on a coordinator for car sales. Unless they're doing a product presentation, demo drive, delivery, that's not the right thing as an individual basis. Now, Sean, wait a minute, you said global. That was the key word, that's for global. Even though I understand the global department is not selling cars, but by their collective efforts, we can measure them by units delivered. So when it's a global bonus, I think it should be tied by units delivered because their sum of their efforts could be graded. But if it's an individual basis, do not put a bonus on there that's related to the car sales unless they're doing the car sales by themselves. What I think is a good one is they should already be making the phone calls. And follow me in this, if they don't make the right amount of phone calls, they're not going to get the right amount of connections. So what I would say what would be a good one is appointments made and appointments kept. Because again, follow my logic. If they're not making the right amount of phone calls, they're not going to have the right connections. If they're not making the right connections, they're not going to make the appointments. So to make it really simple, I suggest my internet directors and my BDC directors to put an incentive for whoever's got the most amount of appointments made and showed. And if you said, okay, Sean, what's the #1 variable? Appointment showed. Done. Let me repeat that so you don't have to rewind. If you were going to just incentivize on one thing, just that one thing, it's appointments that show. Nothing else matters. Because at the end of the day, the more bodies you get to the dealership, the more cars get sold. So what is the most extreme thing that they have control over? Getting appointments to show. So in conclusion of this for the individual, I would put a bonus on the highest appointments that show. That is how you will, sure enough, have a major impact and major volume increase for cars getting sold. The more bodies that show up, the more cars are going to get sold. So finally, remember, you want to make this fun. You do not want to make this like a prison sentence going into the BDC or internet department. The best way to do that is make it competitive, make it interesting, make it fun. And again, one of the reasons why people choose sales other than they need a job is because you are in control of how much money you can make. Think about this. I've interviewed thousands of automotive sales professionals. You know what they say is one of the things that really gets them excited selling cars? Is that they don't have a limit on how much they can make. They can make as much money as they can earn. Think about that. That's the unique aspect of sales. That's the unique aspect of car sales, is that there's no finite, they don't start the month knowing exactly how much they're going to make. Usually they don't ever realize how much they're going to make until the end. They might have goals, projections, and forecasts, but they're not going to know how much they're going to make until the end of the month. Think about that. That's the exciting factor. That's why people gamble, because they don't know if they're going to get craps. They don't know if they're going to turn around and get blackjack. It's interesting. It's a variable. Make it fun and competitive and make them want to hit those phones hard because there's incentives and there's reasons for them to put all their effort into it. So again, I know this is a long Make Money Mondays, but I think it's really important. Incentivize your people, get them excited, be strategic. Thank you. Thank you so much for watching this week's episode of Make Money Mondays. If you like this week's episode of Make Money Mondays, you're going to love all the content on automotive digital training. So please go to automotivedigitaltraining.com and sign up today. And if you've got any questions, please feel free to call me on my cell phone at area code 267-319-6776. Yes, that's really my cell phone. Don't put it on any bathrooms or anything. Thank you. Bye.